Hello and welcome to Gaming History 101. My name is Sasha and I'll be your host today. Today we're going to be talking about Mother, and not the one that comes to mind. The Mother series is one of the more obscure Nintendo series. That's because nobody in the United States, mainstreamly anyway, really knows about it. If you really wanted to play the game, you'd have to know a little bit about it to actually know where to find it, and even then you'd have to cough up like $100 to actually buy it. Or you can just go on the eShop and get it for like $5. I don't know how much it is, I don't have a Wii U. There are 3 games in the Mother series, in addition to a compilation game, which is basically just Mother 1 and 2 on the Game Boy. As you might have guessed by the title of this video, Mother 3, or Earthbound 64 as it was known over here, is the topic of this video. Originally, it was supposed to be released on the Nintendo 64 disk drive, which is something that I talked about in last week's video, so go check that out if you're interested. However, since that was found out to be a pretty bad idea, they eventually moved it to a cartridge, and after a while, they just canceled the project until 2006, where it was finally released on the Game Boy Advance. But before we talk about Mother 3, let's talk about the first 2 games in the series, Mother 1 and Mother 2, also known as Earthbound. Let's go. On July 27th, 1989, Nintendo released a game called Mother for the Famicom. It was a game starring a boy named Ninten who, along with 3 other kids, traveled across the world gathering fighting experience to save it from an invading alien force. It was a success, selling approximately 400,000 copies. It was planned for a US release under the name Earthbound, but it only made it into 4 prototype cartridges. These ROMs were later dumped onto the internet as Earthbound 0 to differentiate from it and the second game in the series. On August 27th, 1994, Nintendo released a sequel to Mother named Mother 2 Gaig Strikes Back for the Super Famicom. The story was the same as the first Mother game, with the only difference being the location and the characters' names. It was a commercial success as well, prompting the first and only Mother series game to be released in America. Recycling the name from the cancelled US release of Mother, it was released in America as Earthbound. But for some reason, the American release didn't sell too well. Why? Well, for starters, the game was $70, which was like 20 more than the average Super Nintendo game. Second of all, to quote Rue from Clan of the Grey Wolf, things may have been different if it had bore the Squaresoft logo, but who had heard of Ape? Ape was the developer of Earthbound, by the way. Also, not many kids are going to want to, let alone be able to, plunk down $70 for a game that's such an unknown. Third, Nintendo's marketing campaign. It was centered around a bunch of gross smells. The game came with those scratch and sniff pads, and the idea was that you could smell the enemies from the game, and according to Rue of Clan of the Grey Wolf, they smelled like bad cologne. The game didn't do that well in the United States, only selling about 140,000 copies. Once Earthbound came out, people started speculating about a sequel to Earthbound, or if you lived in Japan, a 3rd game in the Mother series. At the time, people were originally speculating for it to be released on the Ultra Famicom, which was the rumored name for the Nintendo 64. When the Nintendo Ultra 64 and the Nintendo Ultra 64 disk drive, if that's not a mouthful, I don't know what is, were announced at a trade show in '95, the first 100 games were announced for these systems. Alongside the announcement of the Nintendo Ultra 64 and the Nintendo Ultra 64 disk drive was a little game called Mother 3, or Earthbound 64 as Nintendo Power called it. It was to have a similar plot as Mother 2, but a completely new world and a completely new cast of characters to complement the new world. Although screenshots of the game were shown off, no actual gameplay footage was. Because of the 64 disk drive's million delays, Earthbound 64 was eventually moved to a cartridge as opposed to a disc. The idea was that the 64 disk drive would allow you to buy an expansion kit similar to F-Zero X and the F-Zero X expansion kit. Shigesato Itoi, the creator of the Mother series, stated that Mother 3 was not to be shown at E3 2000 in any form. 2 months after E3, Itoi himself officially stated that Mother 3 was cancelled. He seemed to take it personally too, and to paraphrase, he wanted to create something that was really special, and Mother 3, he felt, wasn't that special thing. Itoi himself stated that if Mother 3 was to be released, there would be a minimal chance of a Mother 4 being created. This made a lot of people really sad, because not only was the Nintendo 64 DD endlessly delayed, as we found out last week, they also had the nerve to cancel a game that might have even saved the console in some people's opinions. So what do people do about it? Well, for starters, in 1999, some people from Starman.net, which is the biggest Mother series fan site on the internet, made a petition pleading Nintendo not to cancel the game. They gathered up a good amount of signatures and mailed them off to Nintendo of Japan and Nintendo of America, who they never heard back from. It was pretty obvious that Nintendo of America wasn't going to do anything just because petition. So 4 years later, in 2003, Starman.net made a huge petition that got over 31,000 signatures, all counted with no duplicates. These signatures were bound together in books, and they mailed it off to Nintendo of Japan, Nintendo of America, Electronic Gaming Monthly, and Shigesato Itoi himself, and how they got his house address is beyond me. Call it irony, call it fate, whatever you want, but the day they mailed it off to Nintendo of Japan, America, EGM, and Shigesato Itoi, the same exact day, this commercial aired in Japan.
Game Boy Advance.
大人も子供もお姉さんも再びマザー1-2ゲームボーイアドバンスで登場
People were ecstatic when this commercial aired. Not only were Mother and Mother 2 being released on an official GBA multi-cart known as Mother 1+2, but Mother 3 was back in development, this time for the Game Boy Advance. Now everyone could get their fix of Mother 3 action, and by everyone, I mean Japan. You know, as usual. Who cares though? People could still import it, which, if you wanted to, you could pay $300 and get a free limited edition Game Boy Micro with your purchase, or get the English translation patch Starman.net's admins were making of the ROM of the game. In 2009, Super Smash Bros. Brawl was released, and Ness, Mother 2's protagonist, was playable alongside Mother 3's protagonist, Lucas. Also, in Brawl's playable classics section of its menu, in the Japanese version anyway, Mother 2 was a playable demo for I think about 5 minutes, and it skipped all the intros, and it skipped right to where Ness had to go find what happened with that meteorite that crashed to the hill. Will we ever see a re-release of Earthbound in the United States in any form? Well, probably not a physical form, but in 2013, the late Satoru Iwata went on a Nintendo Direct, and he did say that Mother 2 was being released for the Wii U Virtual Console. Not only was this amazing news for the people in the United States who really wanted an Earthbound re-release, but it was also awesome news for the people in Europe, because this was the first official release that wasn't bootlegged of Earthbound in European region. To add awesome to awesome, Mother 1 was released on the Virtual Console on the Wii U as a little game called Earthbound Beginnings. It was later released in 2016 as Earthbound Beginnings on the new Nintendo 3DS eShop as well. Judging by the attitude that Nintendo's had towards the Mother series, it hasn't really had any attention since Smash 4, and are we likely to see a new Mother game in the future? Well, probably not, considering that Shigesato Itoi did say there wasn't going to be another Mother game. But there is a fan project going around, and it does look really promising, and it's Mother 4. I'll leave a link to the fan project in the description if any of you are at all interested. Now, is this the end of the news cycle for Earthbound? Probably, but knowing my luck, by the time I put this video out, somebody's going to find a unfinished prototype of Earthbound 64, and Luigi Blood is going to help them dump it, and it's just going to be a great time, and I'm going to have to add another piece to this video right before I release it, just because my luck is just that great. That's what happened with the Super Nintendo anyway, when Ben Heck fixed it, and it was too late for me to re-upload the video at that. If you like this video, be sure to click up here in the cards to see the last 2 videos uploaded on this channel. Don't forget to check out my social media, the links are, or the usernames are up here, as well as in the description. And don't forget to leave a comment to tell me what you'd like me to make a video on, and if I like the idea, I'll try to fit it into the schedule, and if I don't, I'll do the same thing, just because I don't discriminate. But if this is where we part for today, this has been Gaming History 101. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.